Alonzo Bodden hanging for the news. Shows coming up all over the place, and you should visit alonzobodden.com to find out where he's going to be. All right, Chris, let's get a little news out.
So there's some memoirs coming out that are spilling some tea. Let's start off with Britney Spears. So she's releasing a memoir called "The Woman in Me," where she is, I guess, revealing all. First off, she says that she revealed why she cut off all of her hair ahead of her conservatorship. So she said, "I was made to understand that that those days were now over with her having freedom after she had the conservatorship." She said, "I had to grow my hair out and get back into shape. I had to go to bed early and take whatever medication they told me to take." So in a way to push back, she goes into a salon, asks them to buzz her hair. They said no. So she said, "Okay, I'm just going to do it myself." And that's where those paparazzi photos of her doing it herself in the room came from. Because, this salon was like, there's no way we're going to do this.
Oh, she did it in the salon herself?
No, she went to a salon asking a hairdresser to do it. She was refused, so she went home or to her hotel room and just did it herself. So,
but why do we have pictures of her doing it?
Paparazzi.
There's no room in your house that you can't.
Well, maybe she did it in the windows.
Or?
I mean, this could be. Maybe she wanted the photos to be taken, but
I thought the pictures. I thought she was in front of some place or something, or maybe it's somewhere she went after she shaved her. What are these?
It was the salon. It was at the salon. So she took matters in her own hands and grabbed the clipper.
Oh, research! Come on, Max.
There's a lot. There's a lot of memoir stuff.
Yeah, it's super confusing. Except for I knew she didn't go home. She went to the salon and she.
Yeah,
I thought they did it or she did it. But
my buddy did her tattoo.
And then Busy Phillips came out.
Okay.
My buddy did her tattoo when she went crazy like that. She went to a tattoo place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's done a couple of mine. Yeah, he did her tattoo.
Yeah, there she is. She's at the salon.
And,
all right.
And then she also revealed that Justin Timberlake and her had an abortion.
Oh, my God.
I heard about that this morning.
Yeah. Could have been the greatest pop star that
baby.
Pop star Benihana chef on the planet. That kid would have been the greatest pop star, knife wielding.
That'd be a dancer.
Yeah,
or a complete psychopath.
Oh yeah,
that's the flip. The flip side of that.
So her quote is, "Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He was 18 years old." She said, he wanted. He was the one that suggested that they get the abortion. She thought she was going to be with him forever, so she was considering. She was brought up with her religion and everything that not to get one, but Justin convinced her.
How much of these do you believe?
How much older is she? The same age? Is she older? Because he's 18. Well, if she's younger, there may be an issue here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Depends on what state.
You're
in.
I don't know. Let me look.
She's from Louisiana. I think it's 16 there.
Yeah. I just always wonder, like, some of these stories, you just wonder, okay, did this happen, or
Justin's
is this about selling the book?
How I know that, I have no idea.
Yeah, it is about selling the book. I mean, she's doing an interview with People, and they're quoting excerpts from her book, and then this is just getting huge.
Yeah,
so I don't know. Between this and Jada Pinkett, I just don't feel like I need to know so much about what's going on in your world.
Let's jump into Jada.
I don't.
We haven't talked about it yet. So yeah, Jada.
Don't care.
She's exactly right. Like she's. I mean, it feels like people have already been hating her the last year or so. Just
because now she's doing. You can find her from TMZ. So you're on TMZ last night.
I sure did, but but they found her on Hoda's show, and that's what. That's
she was on Hoda, and she's talking about we're living our best life, and we're trying to come together as the best people we can find. She's on. Anyone who goes on a journey bothers me.
Well, my
that
thing
doesn't
is,
involve travel.
When you become more famous for talking about stuff than doing what you do,
yes,
you know what I mean. Like Jada, you're an actress, or at least you were an actress, but now there's no acting involved with anything. It's all these crazy stories about you and Will and this and that. And so,
it's all about your personal journey,
right?
There's some,
but I'm not interested in your personal journey,
right?
Yeah. Yes.
So she reveals that they've been separated for years. Even like during the Oscar slap, they were separated. It was weird to have Will call her his wife when he was screaming at Chris Rock. She said like Chris Rock even approached her and asked her out. Like there are all these weird things she's saying. Her kids are saying, "Oh, we feel bad that all of this is happening with our parents." And then Will posts a picture of him like on a boat in the sea, like, "Oh, everything's good." You know, that's his response, like living my best life. You know, it's the best revenge.
Why is she sitting with him at the Oscars if they're separated and haven't lived together for years?
Yeah.
I don't
She's confusing.
know.
She's being very confusing with her messaging. And then I watched this clip of her and Hoda, and it's even weird how she's responding to Hoda's questions.
All right, well, let's check this out.
So wait, just so I'm 100% clear, you were divorced, not on paper, but now we might be a point where we're back together.
We are working very hard at bringing our relationship together.
Back to a marriage again.
Back to a life partnership. Yes.
Oh, she's got Kamala Harris syndrome, where she doesn't say anything. She's just saying it in an important
With a
way.
cadence, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Sophia
That's her
Vergara.
acting.
I'm
That's her acting.
I'm gonna put together a list of women I never fucking need to hear from again. I got Sophia Vergara, who's on every entertainment show explaining something to us about living her life, and now we got Jada.
But Sophia Vergara is still working though.
Yeah, that's true.
She's
She
still
at least
doing
does something.
funny stuff.
Yes.
She's acting, or she's on the game show. She's a judge, right? So at least she's still doing something.
Yeah, I know Jada Pinkett is not doing things.
Jada hasn't done anything in a while.
All right.
And then Sir Paul McCartney, he has a new podcast, and he talked about Yoko Ono.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and here's a quote. He said, "John and Yoko had got together, and that was bound to have an effect on the dynamics of the group. Things like Yoko being literally in the middle of the recording session were something you had to deal with. The idea was that if John wanted this to happen, then it should happen. There's no reason why not. Anything that disturbs us is disturbing. We would allow this and not make a fuss, and yet at the same time, I don't think any of us particularly liked it. It was an interference in the workplace. We had a way we worked. The four of us worked with George Martin, and that was basically it, and we'd always done it like that. So not being very confrontational, I think we just bottled it up and just got on with it."
Wow, she really did break up that band. Also, this is on him. It's on John. John, it's like that famous clip of her with Chuck Berry and John with Chuck Berry, which I'm sure you've seen, and it's an insult to your people.
I'm going to back up.
Attack.
I'm going to back up and say, once you've been knighted, you can't have a podcast.
Yeah, it's
okay,
weird,
one
right?
or the other. You can't. If you're Sir Adam Carolla, then you have to let go of this show. You're a knight now.
No, I agree. Why spend your days podcasting?
Right,
when you've been knighted?
you're a knight. You've been knighted.
Yeah.
You don't podcast. You just.
It's weird to put them in the same sentence.
And listen, when I started podcasting 15 years ago, if you would have told me that Paul McCartney's podcast, my head would have exploded.
And what ad is Paul McCartney reading? This is Sir Paul McCartney for BetterHelp.
Hello Fresh. You think all delivery meal systems are the same? You haven't tasted Hello Fresh.
When I'm sitting in the kitchen, yeah, okay, Sir Paul. Yeah. No, you can't.
Yeah, because how does he transition? He's dishing the dirt on Yoko, and he goes right into blinds galore.
Use promo code HeyJude.
That's right.
At checkout.
Remember, spell Jude correctly. We have many people from all walks of life answering the phone here at Blinds Galore. Yeah, look, okay, but this is on him. And I'll tell you why it's on him. I mean, as much as everyone wants to blame her, if you said, she said this to me, look, I'd like to come to the recording sessions and stand in between all you guys with a cowbell. I would just go, sweetheart, this is our business. I love you very much. I don't think it's fair to the other guys. Stay home. I'll come home with takeout in about 7 hours, and we will make $1 kajillion on this next album. But just hang out, because this is work.
Right. You got to say no out of respect to the other guys in the band and to the creative process and everything else. And if it's your wife, like, she should understand that. You know what I mean? Like, that's...
Yes.
It happens in comedy where you have couples where one opens for the other, and it can be a very weird
Oh, that sounds...
It can be a very weird dynamic. I mean, with some people it's okay, but it's one of those things that, maybe not.
Right.
Maybe we had one, right? We had mom doing blowjob jokes in front of her young son. That's not good.
Yeah, I agree. It made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But not as uncomfortable as that chicken taco made me feel, but it was uncomfortable. And yes, this is on John Lennon, which is keep her at home. And I would say, look, when we have a party, when we have the rap party, the album rap party, the release party, by all means, you're invited. You're invited to everything. But when we're working, we're working. And if you had some modicum of talent, that would be different.
Right.
But who has less talent and is more self-assured than Yoko Ono? Like, what I'm saying is it's one thing to be talentless, but who has zero talent and grabs the microphone? Like, is there anyone with a chasm between talent and chutzpah?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And not only that, and he could have said this too, like, you've heard of the Beatles, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're not, we're not, like, I'm not in a band. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the greatest
There's
band
not Scotty,
at that time.
Snotty Scotty and the
biggest band
Hankies
in the
haven't
world.
come to town. We're the Beatles.
Yeah, we're the Beatles. Like, you understand?
Everybody should be afraid to even touch this.
Right. You could sing, like, if you're in some up and coming, if I'm in a college band, I'd be like, hey, fellas, listen, I'm trying to get laid, man. Let her just play the cowbell.
Maybe even if you're one of the blowfish, you let her come by.
Yeah.
But
on a bar gig, but not in studio.
The preface with, sweetie, you're going to sit in the booth, and there's not going to be a lot of talking going on. But she would want to get involved.
I give you an example. There's a guy, George Duke, big funk jazz guy, and they were doing this big production, like everybody, all these musicians were sitting in, right? And I'm the comic. I opened, and they gave me a tambourine, and they literally said, stay away from the microphone. They're like, you can be in the picture with a tambourine. Nobody wants to hear you playing the tambourine. Don't be near anything that would amplify how offbeat and how bad you are. I got a great picture of it. They're like, just stay away from anything that would amplify that sound.
We have Chuck Berry in that famous clip of
course.
Chuck and Yoko, and it's perfect. But here's my point. This is on John Lennon. She shouldn't be on stage with musicians.
Have you ever had a girlfriend that all your friends hated? Because a lot of the times you don't even know until after you've broken up with her.
Yeah, I don't think I've had girlfriends that may have had a few too many drinks at a party and kind of gotten people's grill a little bit. I've had that experience before.
I've had girlfriends that my friends' wives are like, no, that's not. You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny with women because that decision takes 30 seconds. Like, you know what I mean? Like, within an instant of meeting them, they're going to tell you why you're going to break up 9 months from now. And you're like, can you teach me that? Can you teach? Just like when a woman walks in and she sees some other woman and she's like, that woman wants to screw you. And it's like, can you teach me how to learn that
good
quick?
To know.
Because you knew, like she knew right away which one to watch out for.
Yeah, I don't even have gaydar. Forget about women that are into me. All right, we'll play the clip just because it's fun. She should have physically been removed from the building. Like, she's screaming into a microphone while the love of her life is having a Make-A-Wish moment with his hero. And she's going to stand there and scream into a mic. She doesn't get nearly as much shit as we should give her.
Does John even confront her about this? Do you think, like, he wouldn't even say anything? Or just based off of how he was performing there, it looked like he didn't even care
I'm just surprised that Chuck Berry didn't just stop. You know what I mean? Like can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like, that's Prince, right? And he's doing, and your wife just stop. Well, what are you doing? What?
It was a Beatle, so John Lennon's playing with his childhood hero, and Chuck Berry's playing with a Beatle. So they have that to consider.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even Chuck's going, well, I'm hanging with a Beatle. That's pretty cool.
Why do I think Kanye wouldn't put up with that?
Kanye wouldn't. It's a Ike Turner. Ike Turner would have gone full El Capone. He would have grabbed that guy's bass guitar and
Ike
swung
Turner.
it like an axe.
Ike Turner would have been, John, let me show you how to handle this.
Yeah. John, there's a few ways. John, check this. Now, you guys can sit in counseling for 6 years, or there's another way we can end this and end it fast.
Counsel.
Yeah. You want to spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time sitting in some guy's office who's got suede patches on his blazer, or I can show you the Ike Turner way to end this, and it ends today, and it never comes back.
It never comes back.
That's the
And
Ike Turner method.
He had the most talented wife in the world.
I know. I would never, I would never beat on a cash cow.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I would never beat on an earner. You know what I mean? Like, Ike Turner has a golden goose earner, hardest working woman in show business, and he's beating the shit out of her.
Well, that's the ego, because the hatred was how much better she was than him, right? Because he had the Ike Turner Review,
Right.
and then she comes along and she's just everybody's like Tina Turner, that's what it was. I mean, that ego just snapped, and it was horrible. But yeah, I don't know.
But
in this situation, Ike wouldn't. Ike would have turned around. We'd have been like, remember Yoko Ono? Remember that time she tried to sing with Ike Turner?
Oh, that one time. That one time she tried to sing with Ike Turner. Yeah, he literally would have earned his name by just turning slowly, balling up his fist, and taking care of this problem. Yeah, never again. But P-Whip John sat and took it. Next thing, she goes from disrupting the Beatles to getting on. Okay, whoever let her on stage? That's the whole point. Is nobody asked her to come on stage.
It seems safe enough. It's like the tambourine. Alonzo playing the tambourine. It's like just hit it. Just kind of stay near the mic. You'll just be up there.
Right, but John has to know. First off, she's probably grabbed that mic and screamed into it 5 dozen times since. I mean, she's the type of person.
There's been jams
that if there were, one of those big restaurants where they have the mic in the front at the receptionist, she probably grabbed that thing and went. This guy was going like Johnson, party of three. There's nothing she wouldn't scream into.
Yeah,
So he knew she had that capacity. Now, if John should have talked to the sound guy early and said,
"Hey,
I want that mic as fucking cold as my grandfather's body back in Liverpool. Like, that's how fucking cold I want that mic.
And we're going to put her off in this corner."
Right.
Like I said, they just when you have a band situation, you can hide someone silently.
Yeah, you
like,
do what the
over
Partridge
there.
Family did with Tracy. It's the same thing they did with Alonzo. You hand him a tambourine, tell him to look good and not to say anything.
That's it.
Yeah, you got Tracy
And I
by
was
those
honored.
jazz guys.
I was honored to be on that stage. I was like, don't worry, you won't be hearing from me. I'm just here.
You got Tracy, bro. Because that's what they did with Tracy from the Partridge Family. They took a little 4-year-old girl and they just give her a tambourine and she just out of sync and out of time just sat there. Yeah, this is on him. And the fact that after it got cut off, she started pulling it out of the mic stand and screaming into it.
But
She's
the
a horrible person.
look on Chuck Berry's face is priceless.
You want to get sad, Alonzo? Yoko Ono is the most famous Japanese person in the world right now, living.
Wow. No.
I know. That's what I thought. That was a scary thought. I was like, but let's beat her then. I mean, like Ike Turner would.
Trying to think that. Now
This
you got
is
me
the-
trying to
this
think
is
of
George
Japanese
Takei.
people.
This is the problem.
Trying to think of Japanese. Oh man,
Ichiro?
you're killing me. Yeah. What about Ichiro? Ichiro's got to be up there.
He's not. I don't think he's.
Nah, he's not up
He's not
there
a
with
household.
Yoko.
Yoko Ono is a household name.
Well, in her defense, destroying the Beatles is a pretty big move. You know what I mean? Like
known
you
for
would
that.
be.
Yeah.
If you destroy the Beatles, there's going to be some notoriety involved.
The most famous Japanese person on the planet is Yoko Ono.
Yeah. Well,
That is the saddest. That's the saddest realization I've ever had. It really is. No
someone
hyperbole.
told me, and I don't know if this is true, but someone told me that Kim Kardashian is the most famous woman on earth.
I couldn't argue with that.
Taylor
that,
Swift.
That
has
blew my mind. That blew my mind.
Well, maybe Taylor Swift in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah. Taylor Swift is like a bigger star, but just fame. Just in other words, people just knowing who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hear that with like Tom Cruise as the guy. He's the most recognizable face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was like when Muhammad Ali was the most famous person in the world, and you could believe it. You're like, yeah, everybody in the world would know who Muhammad Ali was, when he in his day. But listen, God bless Kim Kardashian. She pulled it off. I'm long past any hating on her, but that's just a fascinating.
Yeah.
So, like you think of all the women who've done all these. I mean, there's 11 women on the list.
The guitar list. Top 100. Yeah. It kind of shows where our priorities are as human beings.
Well, it's social media. It's social media has made,
It doesn't, pardon the pun, bode well for us as a society that we've taken
who are empowering
two talentless people and made them the most popular folks on the planet of their own ethnicity, for sure. I mean, the most popular Armo on the planet's got to be Kim Kardashian by a long shot. The most popular. I like to break everything down around raciil lines because that's my move. It was discussed at the barbecue.
Really?
I told the guys at the fellas at the barbecue. Sorry, in fact, got lost in the mail. But I need the most famous of it. Like Conor McGregor would be the most.
Yeah. Who's the most famous
guy.
black person then?
I don't think there's one.
Because they have an Oprah.
Right. Because you have so many different ways, right?
There's a LeBron James.
How do you compare Oprah to Michael Jordan, right?
Right.
And then you have like Tiger Woods. Like people didn't want to admit it, but Tiger was far more famous than Jordan because a lot of the world doesn't play basketball, but the whole world plays golf.
Right.
And then you got Lewis Hamilton, right, who's anywhere outside of the United States is a god. Right, around,
but then the question with a Lewis Hamilton and anybody who's the biggest Brazilian rock band in the world, like if you haven't cracked the United States in terms of household name, even though our populace doesn't scratch that of many other continents, but we're the tastemakers.
Yeah, so
we should get extra votes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to crack it, and then you have like Serena. It's how I mean. Again, how do you compare her?
Well,
actually, in a lot of places, Oprah isn't super famous. I mean, she's amazingly famous here, but it's not like the talk show.
At the barbecue, we discussed you can only pick one. That's the thing. We got one Japanese and one Armo, one Korean and one Scotsman. You just got to pick one. And then the pickings get slim when you get to like Italians and stuff like that because you pick like a director, you know what I mean? Like Francis Ford Coppola or something. Like what do we do with the IDs? And then you might pick, I'm Italian, like I said, you might pick another F1 guy. I don't know if the guys are French or Italian. Who's the guys on top of the world F1?
Well, you got
right now?
Max Verstappen, you got Fernando Alonso has to be one of the most famous. I mean, he's past his prime, but still. Yeah,
Verstappen, and there's one other guy, Leclerc or something.
Yeah, Leclerc.
Right. So I have to figure out where they're from.
Yeah.
All right. Alonso's dogs out there just took a 20-pound dump, so we got to get the snow shovel out and get going. He ate the sofa.
And it still doesn't smell as bad as the gauze.
No.
It was 1980.
Good callback. All right, Alonzo's got shows. Saginaw, Michigan, coming up soon, October 25th, Dow Event Center. Do not miss a world-class comedian in his prime. Podcast, Who's Paying Attention, and dates, AlonzoBodden.com. I'm going to be in Spokane, Washington, Spokane Comedy Club, October 27th through the 29th. Wait a minute. Is that 28? Oh, wait a minute. Something's wrong with that.
You're going to be there 27th and 28th, and then you're going over to Tacoma on the 29th.
There you go. Why is there so much of that in life? Also, all the VIPs are sold out, I think, for Spokane, but there's general admission tickets that are around. We can do that.
You have too many shows.
Go to AdamCarolla.com for that. Until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Alonzo Bodden and Chris Max Battis saying, mahalo.